Okay, so today is the 20th of January 2017, and I've just got back from a funeral. It's somebody that I've known since I was a kid, growing up in New Zealand, which is where I used to live. I now live in England, but I grew up in New Zealand for the first 16 years of my life. Anyway, this person who died, he was 45 years old, which is really young, and his parents knew my parents, and then they emigrated from England to New Zealand, and we put their family up in our house for a couple of weeks until they found a place to live, and we used to play together and do all sorts, go to the beach together and everything. And this guy ended up moving back to England with his parents, and we lost touch for a while, and then when I moved back to England I caught up with him again, but we didn't hang out together then. Anyway, it ended quite tragically. He threw himself off a cliff on the 1st of January in Dover. There's a lot of reasons for that, but he was in the Gulf War. He was an ex-soldier, very, very troubled. He saw a lot of horrific things in the war. He got into drugs a lot, possibly to help cope with all that he'd seen in the Gulf War, in the 1991 Gulf War, and he was only about 18 years old. He got into a lot of drugs, developed mental health problems, quite severe ones, not just depression. We're talking, it's pretty severe, kind of delusions and stuff, possibly through the drugs, and ended up really struggled for a long time, battled a lot of demons, was in a really, really bad way. But anyway, on the 1st of January, like I say, he left his home in Manchester, went right to the bottom of England, to a place called Dover, and threw himself off a cliff. What sort of frame of mind would you be in to do that? How much pain would you have to be in to do that? So just been to the funeral today, a lot of people there. It was a bit of a military funeral as well. There was people there in full military uniforms and the flags and all that. It made me kind of think, would he still be alive if, two things really, if he'd never gone into the military and he'd never fought in the war and he'd seen dead bodies and all sorts of horrendous stuff, and the other thing, would he be alive if he'd never got into heavy drugs? I don't know, maybe he'd have a good chance of being alive. Life is a very random thing really. Sometimes we make decisions and whatever they are, and sometimes life can snowball. It starts off being a problem, and then 5 years later it's a bigger problem, 10 years later it's a bigger problem, and so that's kind of my thoughts, and thanks for watching.